Welcome to this tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 financial functions available in Excel. One is PMT, IPMT PPMT, CUMIPMT and CUMPRINC. Now PMT function is used to find EMI. Okay, for example, if you are borrowing 2 lakh rupees from a bank and you are intended to pay that in 2 years, in total 48 installments, 12 installment per year, and you are borrowing that money at on an interest rate of 18%, then what should be your EMI? That is what we are going to answer using this PMT function. And whenever you pay an EMI, then certain part of it goes to the bank as interest and some part of it goes to the bank as principal amount. Now how to find that particular part which you are going to pay to the bank as interest? That is what we are going to find out by using IPMT function, and the principal in a particular period is going to be calculated using PPMT function. Now if I'll ask that how much money you are going to pay to the bank as an interest from EMI 4 to 8, then you need to use this function, cumulative interest payment. Okay, and it requires two more argument which we call start period and end period, and that is the reason why I told you between 4 to 8, or let us say 5 to 10. It can be anything. Similarly, within those two periods, if you are trying to find the total principal amount that you have paid, you can use this cumulative principal function, which is CUMPRINC. Now PMT function has 5 arguments which we use to find the EMI: rate, NPER, PV, FV and type. The very first argument is rate, and this is the rate at which bank offer you some loan or give you some money. Now when we are going to write here the value 0.05 is exactly equal to 5%. So you can write in this format or you can write in this format. Both of them are equal. NPER is total number of payments. Okay, so for example, if you are borrowing money for 2 years and you have to pay 12 installment in a year, then total number of payment is going to be 12 into 2, which is 24. So NPER will be 24. And if you are borrowing money at on interest rate of 18%, then rate is going to be 18% or 0.18. PV is what you are going to borrow from the bank. So for example, if you are taking 2 lakh money from the bank, then 2 lakh is going to be the present value. FV is what you are supposed to get at the end of or after the payment of the last installment. Okay, we'll talk about this in detail in some other sheet, don't worry for now. And type can be 2, 0 or 1. If you type 0, that means you are paying your EMI at the end of each period or at the end of every month. If you write 1 as type, that means payments are going to be paid at the beginning of each month. Now there will be certain differences in interest that you are going to pay. That will be very little, but still that will be there. And as I said, the PMT function returns the total, the amount of amount of payment that you are going to pay as an EMI each month. Okay. Similarly, IPMT function has 5 arguments. The only additional argument is PER, which is period. So for what period you are trying to find the interest that you have paid to the bank, that is what this period represents. Okay, so for example, if I'll ask you that for the fourth EMI, in the fourth EMI, how much of that will go to the bank as interest? Now that can be calculated using IPMT function, and PER value will be 4 because I'm concerned about the fourth installment. All the other arguments are same, and as I said, IPMT returns the interest paid in a particular period. Similarly, PPMT has same argument as that of IPMT formula, and it returns the principal that you are going to pay in a particular period. Okay, now let's take an example. This is a very simple sheet. Now let us say I'm going to borrow 3 lakh money from the bank, and I'm intended to pay this over 3 years, and total payment that I'm going to total number of payments in a particular year is going to be 12. That means it is a monthly amount. Rate of interest is 18%, let us assume, and future value is 0. Then how we can find this monthly installment? Just have a quick look. Equal to PMT, rate is this much, and this is annual rate, and I am intended to pay that monthly. So that means I need to convert this in monthly interest rate. So all I have to do is divide that by the number of payments I'm going to make in a year. So L6 divided by 12. So basically it is 18 by 12, which is 1.5%, comma, number of payment, I have to pay this in 3 years and 12 installment per year. That means it is going to be 12 multiplied by 3. These are the total number of payments, comma, present value, what I am borrowing, which is this one, comma, FV for now I'm going to keep it 0, as you can see here, and type is going to be 0. Okay, close the parenthesis, enter. So this is the amount that I have to pay to the bank, and you can see this is a negative amount, and that makes sense because I'm taking this amount as from the bank, and this is a positive amount, and this is the installment which is supposed to be deducted from my account every month, and that is the reason it is a negative amount. Okay, now initially for the 0th month, monthly installment is going to be 0, interest 0, principal 0, and the balance amount initially will be exactly equal to what I have borrowed. Okay, in this particular first EMI, again the formula is going to be the same, so I'm going to copy this down, the same formula, go to this cell, press F4, and now since I have to drag this all the way up to this 36th installment, so I need to fix all of these cells. So select all these cells address and keep pressing F4, it will be locked, as you can see, enter. And now if I'll drag this all the way up to 36, okay, you can see in each month I have to pay this amount, 10,845.72 rupees. Okay, now I want to know that when I'll pay this very first installment, what part of it will go to the bank as interest and what part of it will go to the bank as principal. So to find that interest, all I have to do is equal to IPMT, rate is this much, 18%, fix this cell divided by total number of payments in a year, so that I can convert that into the monthly interest rate, comma, period, and I'm going to find this interest paid for this particular period 1. So, and I'm not going to fix this cell because I need to drag this all the way up to 36th installment, and I want this to change to K12 to K13 and K14. So I'm not going to change fix this, comma, number of payment is going to be payment in a particular year, fix that cell, multiply by total number of years, again fix this cell, comma, present value is going to be what I'm going to borrow, which is 3 lakh in this case, comma, future value is going to be 0, fix this, comma, and type is going to be 0. That means I'm going to pay my EMI at the end of the month, not at the beginning of the month. Press the enter key, and you can see in the very first month I'm going to pay 4,500 as interest and rest of amount as principal. To get this, I can subtract this value from this one, okay, something like this, minus this one. So you can see 4,500 will be paid to the bank as interest, and this 6,345 rupees will be paid to the bank as principal amount. Now if I wish, I can calculate the same by using PPMT formula. And again, the arguments are same. So what I'm going to do is, rather than writing the same thing again, I'm going to copy the same formula, paste into this cell, and simply change this I with, replace this I with PPMT. And you can see these are the exact value. If I'll select these two cells, you can see the sum is going to be 10,845, which is exactly this one. Now the balance amount after the payment of the very first EMI is going to be equal to the total amount that I have paid and total amount I have borrowed minus the principal which is going to be paid in this installment. And since it is a negative amount, so I do not need to minus this. I'll simply add these two numbers, and you can say after the very first installment the loan due on my name will be equal to this much, 2,93,654 rupees approximately. Now all these numbers are red and negative because these are the amount which is supposed to be subtracted or deducted from my account. Okay, it is going to be debited from the account, and that is the reason why it is a negative number. I'll double click this. I'll double click this one, and I'll double click on this one. And you can see now I've got the full schedule. Just have a look. Okay, I do not need this one, so I'll simply select everything and I'll delete. Okay, and you can see when I'll pay the 36th installment, the interest paid to the bank is very little, which is 160 rupees, because the principal which was balanced in the last month by the bank was 10,000 only, and that is the reason the interest will be very low. And this is the amount which was submitted to the bank as principal amount, and these two are exactly same thing, and that is the reason why the balance amount is 0. Okay, one very important point, if you look this column, you will find that interest amount is decreasing as we are moving towards the last installment. Okay, and principal amount is increasing. The reason is initially you are paying interest over the entire money, and since after this installment the principal amount get decreased by this amount, and therefore the interest will be applicable only on the balance amount, which is 2,93,000. So that is the reason why it is very low. We talked about that the rate of interest was 18% annually, so monthly it is going to be 18 by 12, which is 1.5%. Now if I'll try to find the 1.5% of this value, see what will happen. This is exactly equal to 4,500, which we are seeing here. Okay, because 1.5% is applicable on the total money. But if you come here in the second installment, you do not need to pay the EMI over the entire money, because you have already paid 6,300 approximately, and the balance amount is this much. So this is basically equal to this amount multiply by 1.5%, 4,404 rupees. You can see that. Okay, and that is the reason as you are paying the EMI, balance amount is also decreasing, and at the same time the interest you are about to pay is also decreasing, and most part of the EMI is going towards the principal now. Now let me go up. Okay, now I'm intended to find the total interest which I have paid. So basically it is sum of this entire column. Okay, this is one way. So I can sum this M column, and I can write that here something like that. This sum M column M, that means I'm going to sum a full column, and it is 90,455. And if I'll sum this column, that means the total amount that I have paid is 3,90,445, out of which 90,000 has been paid as interest. There is another way to do this, and I'll show you in the next sheet. Now let's take this example. In this case, let us say I'm going to borrow borrow money from the bank, 3 lakh, and as per the deal, 3 lakh I'll get at the beginning, and when I'll be done with my payment, I'm supposed to get 50,000 more. So this is also a positive number for me, and this is also a positive number for me. Okay, so future value means after the payment of each installment, what I will get. If this is a negative 50, that means negative 50,000, something like this. That simply means I'm going to take 3 lakh from the bank. I'm going to pay that over 4 years and 12 installment per month. And when I'll be done with this 48 installments, there will be still 50,000 against my name, which needs to be paid to the bank, because this is a negative amount and which I have to pay after the installment. Okay, so if you're having trouble understanding this, let's quickly delete this and see this in real time. So what I'm going to say, that I'm going to take 3 lakh from the bank, and after the payment of each installment, again I'm supposed to take 50,000 from the bank. And how it works, equal to PMT, equal to PMT rate, and I'm going to fix this, divided by the total number of payments in a year. So this is rate now, the ratio of these two, comma, number of payments, which is basically multiplication of the total number of payments in a year multiply by total number of years. I'm going to fix this one too, comma, what is the next thing, present value, which is this one, fix this cell, comma, future value, this much, again fix this cell, comma, 0, and if you will not write 0, the default value of this argument is 0, so that will also do the job. Enter. Now this means I have to pay 9,531 rupees per month as installment. So I'm quickly going to fill this table, and since the PMT formula is also already mentioned here, I'm going to copy this formula and I'm going to paste this formula. Okay, you can see these two values are same. Very good. Equal to, I'm going to paste the same formula, and this time I'm going to write this IPMT, and the second argument is missing, which is the period, comma, done. Oops, something went wrong. It should be IPMT. Here it is. And I'm going to copy this formula again, and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to replace this I with P. Okay, and the balance amount is going to be the total balance minus the principal paid in this EMI. Fine. I'm going to double click this, double click, and double click. Now let's investigate what does this future value means. If you come downward, I do not require these, so I'm going to delete this. Okay, here it is. Once you pay the 43rd installment, this should not be negative, this should be positive. Now that makes sense. Okay, if we come downward, just have a look. When you pay this 43rd EMI, then this is the balance amount minus 828, and this is negative. That means after paying the 43rd installment, this amount is due to the bank, not to you. Okay, and in this one, when you pay the 44th installment, have a look. You are paying 9,531 rupees, and this interest is not being paid to you, it is being paid by the bank too, and that is the reason it is a positive number. And when you sum these two number, this is what you will get. Okay, you are paying 9,531, but principal which is being paid to the bank is 9,543, which is 12 rupees extra, and this is because of the interest you are going to get on this particular value, particular EMI. Okay, and if you paid the last EMI, which is 48, you can see this is the 50,000 balance, and this is a negative balance, and that means you are supposed to get that from the bank. This is the balance to the bank. That means bank has to pay this number to you. Okay, and that is exactly what we mean by future value. Now if I'll make this number negative, see what will happen. Can you see that? That means after the 48th installment, the balance amount is still zero. That means you have to pay this money to the bank. Okay, this is still the balance which needs to be paid even after 48th EMI, and you can see the EMI has gone down. Each month you are paying less because you are not supposed to get 50,000 from the bank after the installment. You are supposed to get beforehand. So that is what we mean by future value. If it is a negative amount, that means you will pay that after payment of each installment. If it is a positive amount, that means you are supposed to get that value from that bank after the payment of each installment. Okay. Now the last thing is how to find cumulative interest and principal. Now let us say I wish to find the total amount of EMI that I have paid, total amount between period 4 and 8. So what I'm going to do, equal to EMI multiply by how many months we have, 8 minus 4 plus 1. Why plus 1? Because 8 minus 4 is 4, and since you have to include this 4, so I have to add 1, and that is what this one represents. So between period 4 to 8, you are going to pay to the bank how much? 51,406 equal. And now I'm going to ask how much of it will go to the bank as interest. So I'll write I cumulative interest payment tab, and rate this much divided by 12, and I do not need to drag this formula down, so I do not need to fix it, comma, number of payment 12 multiply by 4, comma, PV this much, comma, start period 4, comma, end period 8, comma, 0. Alright, enter. And you can see out of that 51,000, 24,299 rupees will go to the bank as interest. I'll copy this formula, I'll paste that here, and instead of this CUMPP PRINC, press tab, enter. And if I'll add these two, you'll see this is exactly equal to this much, 51,406. And if you are trying to, I told you that I'll tell you what is the other way to find this formula, find this value here. So I'm going to delete this, and I can write the same formula, which is interest paid, copy, I'm going to paste Okay, since we have, this is a merged cell, that is why we are having problems, so don't worry. Equal to cumulative interest payment rate, this divided by total number of payments in a year, comma, NPR 4 multiplied by 12, comma, present value this much, comma, start period is going to be 1 and end period is going to be this multiply by this 1 to 48th term, comma, 0, bracket close, and this is exactly the same number. If you'll select this value, you will get this value is exactly equal to the sum of that values on those columns, which is 1,43,000 approximately 500. Alright, so I hope your doubt is clear related to these 5 functions that we talked about earlier: PMT, IPMT, PPMT, and these 2 as well. If you have any query, feel free to post your query as comment, and if you find this video, do share and subscribe to the channel for such more videos in future. Thank you.